All right, good afternoon. We're going to work on our styrofoam design, and I'm going to just demonstrate how we're going to put this together. So basically the styrofoam, we're looking at a styrofoam cup. Okay, before you even begin, I want you to plan out using your design sheet. You put your name, and this is basically your checklist. So my piece is going to be called the crown. The dimension is going to be 6 by 10. And the elements that I'm using is line, shape, forms, unity, repetition, patterns, and rhythm. Basically, my idea is centered around the crown that symbolizes unity amongst people, connecting the connection of humanity as one through links. So in my design, I'm going to show a lot of different links. The materials that I'm using is basically Styrofoam cup right here. We have scissors. I have 2 scissors. We have the glue gun and glue stick. And that's basically all you need. And the most important thing is your sketch. So when I first started out my sketch, I wanted to design something that showed movement and use of positive. As you can see here, we have a lot of line movement coming into the design that kind of pulls it together to the center. And then I wanted the crown piece to be the center of attention here. I have positive and negative because these parts can be cut out of the cup. And I have a pattern shape that goes around the side, that goes around the whole thing. That sits like a crown, that creates rhythm and kind of pattern. So let me demonstrate how we're going to go about it. Okay, the first thing I want to do is use my X-Acto knife. And when you cut with your X-Acto knife, you always want to cut away. You don't want to cut where your thumb is here and you're trying to cut. And eventually you can slip and cut your fingers. So what you want to do is cut, use it away. Notice how I'm turning. And don't try to get it in one sit. You want it to like a saw up, down, take your time. The cleaner the cut, the better the presentation. So make sure you got good craftsmanship. So there it is. Once you finish, you got a nice little cut. Go back, clean it up a little bit. So now I have my base. Now what I usually do sometimes is that you can actually come in here and you can draw on top of it. So you can draw the areas that you're going to cut out. And I'm spacing them about equal space, eyeballing it. Okay. So that gives me a good space. If you look, you can see the marks going around. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut it out. Nice and slow. And then bring it to the top. Bring it to the top. And then cut these shapes. Now, this could be used again, so don't trash anything. You might be able to use it in this further design. So now I have a positive and negative space that's going to be created. So I'm going to continue the same shape method to the top and bring it down, down. Don't force it. Now, okay. Notice that I can go back and clean up just a tad bit. Then get the next part. Get the top. Pull it out. My design is coming along pretty good. So I'll probably do one on this side. Okay, nice and clean. So I'm going to clean it up a tad bit. Nice. So now in my design, as you can see, I have the base. Now there's another piece I need to add, and what I wanted to do was add we can add the bottoms. So to add the little loops around go on the side, we can do two things. So if you look at my design, it actually has, real quick here, has these pieces that loops around. So I can probably, nothing goes to waste. So I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut down. I'm going to cut a little piece out. And then what I want to do is make my straight around. Okay. So we have our little curves. I'm going to go ahead and get the others. Can use it for something later, so I'm going to save that. One of the good things is try to get all your pieces organized before you start. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. This nice long line. Go ahead and get another piece. And another piece. Try to get as even as possible with a curve. Good. So we have a bunch of pieces ready to go. I got that for the top. I'm going to go ahead and start working on the bottom piece. So I already have some curves. So I'm going to do this. This is a technique that I use. You just curve it, count to maybe 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it gives you a nice curve. All right. So now, I'm going to go ahead and cut my little pieces. They should be all the same, so I'm going to use that as a marker. And do the next one. Overlap. Perfect. And bam. So what I'm going to do is go ahead. I'm going to add a piece here. Now, two ways you can do this. You can add a slit. So I'm going to do it opposite. So I'm going to add a slit right here. Just to add a slit, I'm just going to take the X-Acto knife and just cut straight across. Okay. So we like a little groove in there. And then you can take your piece that you made and it slides it right in there. See that? Without using any glue gun, without using any glue. So now I'm going to put this on the opposite side. Same thing. I'm going to put a slit right here. Opposite side, so just add a slit. And then you put the piece. Slide it in. See? It's getting there. I'm going to add another piece on this side. Same concept. But this has to be symmetrical. Okay, then we slide it in. Perfect. So it's coming together. And then we'll just need one more piece on this side for now. Now we have a design, it's symmetrical. It serves as a base. Okay, I could always go back in and make some adjustments. Okay, once we get it in there. Looking good. So now the next phase I want to do is now using the glue gun. You can actually do two things. This is where your glue gun comes in handy. So I'm going to go ahead and warm it up. So what I usually do is, since I have it in place, it looks good, I just stick a little glue on the outside. And then now we slide it right in there. Perfect. So it sits in with the glue. I know the distance. Take that. Just a little glue in the top. Slide it right back in. Perfect. A little glue. Look real close. Just a little bit, not too much so that your glue becomes sloppy and it starts dripping. Okay, that looks good. And the last piece. Perfect. So we got our pieces. We got some positive and negative use. We have some repetition showing balance. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do now is we're going to get us another cup. So now we're about to add the piece to this. So what I'm going to do is bring this over here, spread this on the right. So what I'm going to do now is add the top crown and this little glue because it's already prepped. And we want to make sure we push this in. Same way we did the bottom. Okay. Put a little glue just to hold it in place. Slide it in. It goes through. Perfect. Yeah. Let's get this side. Straight through. So now the next part, just a little glue. Okay, so this piece will be the crown that comes on top. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and before we can do that, I need to actually build up something. So I'm gonna have two pieces that comes across like this, so that this, my crown sits up high. Okay, so I could do this also. It looks good. Oh, that's a great, I'm gonna use this piece right here, glue that on here. Stick that onto the edge. Then I'm gonna stick this part here. Just hold it in. Just count to 10. Sometimes you just gotta just, you know, it's a little, this stuff comes off later. Okay, stick that piece in there. Let's get the top, rotate. Get this piece, and all I need is a little glue. Okay, and look what I'm doing is attaching it right down to it. Hold it down for a little bit, and there it is, stuck. And I do the next part. Okay, so the next piece, all I have to do now is move it to the side. Okay, and stick it right in there, count to 10, hold it down. See, this extra stuff comes off very easily. That looks good. Now we just clean it up a little bit. Okay. Clean it up a tad bit. Get all the extra drips off. Good to clean it as you go. You get to see what it looks like. Okay, that looks good. So now, remember, it's not a rush. It's not trying to get it done in one. But what I'm trying to achieve is that symmetry. I have positive and negative. I have repetition going on. Now, there's something else I'm going to actually try to figure out is to add a raise in here. So I can actually design this where it raises up. So I'm going to figure out what could I do in this part here to raise it up a little bit. I still need to add more repetition on the side to build it up. So remember these pieces that I saved? So what I'm going to do is, I think I can create a pretty cool piece now. Go ahead and add a circle piece. So remember, we could always use what we have. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Bend it around. Remember, always cut in a way that your hands are not in the way. Always, so it's not in the way of getting cut. You got to be safe with the X-Acto knives. So now I have this piece, and I want to use this as to make a circle. Because I want to remember we have a circle piece there. So I'm going to go ahead and click. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Just like a saw, in and out. No rush. Perfect. Now we can clean this up. Looks a little sloppy. So I'm going to go back in there and clean it up a little bit. And that's an easy fix. Okay, let's go ahead. Passing, clean, slow. You see, sometimes you gotta just nice and slow. I'm not rushing. I want to make sure you get a nice clean cut. Always think about your craftsmanship end result, because when it's rushed and looks sloppy, it counts against you. That's the first thing people see. You can have a nice outfit on, and if it's not ironed, you're gonna see the wrinkles. Okay, that looks good. A little better. I'm going to clean it up a little bit on the outside, because we want to make sure our crown is perfect. Nice. Nice and clean. You could always rub it on the opposite way. So what I want to do now is create the top piece. So notice that we have some things going on here. And keep in mind, sometimes your design might change. It might say, you know what, I want to try it this way. And that's fine. That's fine. So I might want to have this suspended up this way. So what I can do is use my cup again. Now remember that another key technique is, since we have it cut like this, I'm just going to go ahead, slide it, cut it down like this. And I'm gonna make us a nice cut on a curve. Go ahead and cut on the curve again. Cut on the curve. Get another one. Okay. Never throw anything away until it's time. So first thing we want to do, we want to build this up. So to build this up, okay, I see that we should have something like this. Let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up with my glue gun. So glue gun back. First we want to set, I'm going to glue these together. Let's connect those. Perfect. Get that two together. Okay, sometimes it gets a little sticky, gets on your hands. That's fine. Okay, once that's stuck together, that looks pretty good. So test it out. See what it looks like. It's always good to test out. Okay. I think we need to cut it down so it sits perfect. So it fits right in there. Probably see if we can add another one. That looks good. Add 3 coming out. See, as you can see, sometimes, you know, you when you start working, you start feeling the energy and the vibe and the artwork. Say, you know what, let's try this way. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So I'm going to glue this onto here. So we have a nice 3 thing. Let's add it right here. Do it the opposite way. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue here. Yeah. The glue. Let's get that popping. Make sure it's right. I'll make this one up a little bit more. That you could probably see somewhere in a mall. So I'm going to add this piece right in here. Just a little glue. Okay. Drop this right in the center. Nice. Clean it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's see. Gotta make sure it sits in there perfectly. Okay, this is the crown we're making. Okay. Okay, see what I have to do. Sometimes you have to make some adjustments, and that's fine. Make some little adjustments so we can make sure it fits in there perfect. Kind of like that right there. Let's bring that down so it can fit right inside. See, sometimes you just gotta go in there, make some adjustments. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit. Nice. Perfect. So now we get our glue gun. We know where we need to drop it. I think it needs to, it's gonna be dropped right in here. I need to cut a little bit off the back. a little bit off the back here. Make sure it sits in perfectly. Not there yet. Trim some off this. That's what's very good to measure twice, just to be on the safe side. Perfect. So now, glue gun. We just drop it right in the glue gun. Okay, so now we have something that's happening. I got the crown piece, I got my center. Remember, I'm using my sketch as my guide. Okay, now something about the piece, I'm going to be able to pull this up later. See, so it's going to come up, as you can see. So what I need to do is I want to add some really cool pieces on the top. So like little 3 pieces. So I'm going to make a shape like a leaf. Now, design. I want you to remember, when you start designing, you want to see what it looks like from different angles. So as you work, you want to test it out. So this looks like a better front. So it's these little nuance, little intricate things that makes your piece stands out. It gives it a little more character, I would say. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that on the top. Okay. I'm going to take my time. Okay. Notice I'm making it symmetrical. Just a little bit of glue. That's all you need. I like working with the glue gun because, you know, it sticks so fast. Okay, and then we do the next one. Okay, so now, you know, keep in mind that I'm just doing a quick demonstration modeling how you can actually start working on your piece. So the next phase is after you have it completely done. Clean it up a little bit. Get all that extra stuff off. Now I still can add more. I have a lot more work to do on this piece. And this is day 1. This is just 1 day of work. I still have to add the pieces that goes around the side. As you can see, once we put the light on this, nice shadow, it gives it a nice crown effect that I can then put my crown on. Hey, pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get to work. Make sure, step 1, you want to make sure you get that sheet completed first. Then you want to sketch out your idea, have an idea going in. Okay, and then you just start. You want to start prepping, get all your materials ready to rock and roll before you start. All right, look forward to seeing your work next.